Hey everybody, I am Mary Copeland and I just wanted to introduce myself and go over some important things about the class, help you show you where everything's located, where to find assignments and that sort of thing. And also show you the textbooks that we're going to be using. The textbooks are free and I will show you where to go to access those books. But the books are Rereading America. That's one of the books where we'll be reading essays. The other book is Asking the Right Questions. Both of those books should be in your Brightwave bookshelf. I'll show you where the link to that is, and that's free. The other book is Just Mercy. It's the novel that we're reading, and this is free also, but you'll probably have to contact the bookstore and either go by the bookstore and pick it up or have them send it to you. I don't think this one shows up in the bookshelf. And the other thing I'm going to do is just pop right into the class and show you where everything's at and how it works. So here's the class. Here's what you're going to see when you log in. A couple of important things. I'll post this video on the homepage when I'm done. But, you know, over on the side, your Canvas shell always gives you this to-do list, which I think is great. It's a really good reminder of what you need to do. However, it doesn't tell the whole story. One thing it doesn't do is tell you about discussions. So if you'll notice, the discussions that we do have 2 due dates. So you always have to post your discussion by Thursday, and then you have to respond to 2 other students in the class by Sunday. That's how it is every week. Canvas does not allow me to put in 2 due dates. So if you'll notice, like right here, like for this discussion, it says April 2nd, but that doesn't include that the first part of the discussion is due Thursday, which I believe is like March 30th or something like that. So that's only for the discussions. Everything else pretty much always due on Sundays at the end of the week. And if you have any questions about that, please let me know. Just remember, on all discussions, your initial post is due on Thursdays, and then your responses are due by Sundays. Over here is where, well, here's links to my office hours. I'm in the office on campus and virtually, so you can attend virtual office hours or come in my office if you would like. Over here, this is where you're going to find all of the work. So I'm going to click on modules. Modules is where you will go each week to read through everything. Up here is your resources and reading schedule. So right here is Brightwave course materials. Click on that link. Your textbooks should be there. If the textbooks are not there, click on what to do if the link for free books doesn't work, customer service. You can scroll down. There's some numbers to call to get that sorted out. Student resources, just links to the Writing Center, links to counseling, other things like that. Reading and assignment schedule, I'll click on that, but you can look at it more later. But it really just talks about the different readings that we're doing and when those are due, so you can look at those. And then further down, I have a bunch of MLA information. So all of the work that we'll be doing, the essays that we're doing will be in MLA format. So you'll want to be sure to review that if you're not familiar with MLA format. And then I have some information, course overview, what to expect. I'm briefly going to talk about that just so you know what's going on. We're going to have 4 essays to write. The last one is a research paper, 7 and 9 pages. Every week there will be a discussion. This is an 8-week class instead of a 16-week class. So often you're going to have 2 discussions every week. So that's the tricky thing. It's kind of neat to do a short-term class, but you still have to do the same amount of work that you would do in a 16-week class. So it's just piled on twice as much. Each week there'll be exercises from our textbook asking the right questions. I post announcements every Sunday, and we're also reading the novel Just Mercy. So that's just the basics. And now it says access denied. So hang on just a second. Let me go back to our class. The other things that I want to show you in the class are the modules. Let me go back to that really quick, because that's where you're going to be submitting all your work. So like your first week here, you have an introduction that's due, you have a syllabus quiz, you have a discussion, there's a quiz on the first 2 chapters of asking the right questions, and there's also an essay assignment, and there's some readings that you have to do prior to the discussion. And the essay assignment, now the essay assignment is not due until April 9th, so you have 2 weeks to get the essay done. And then let me go to the syllabus and show you that. Couple of things. You actually have a quiz on the syllabus, so this would be where you get most of the information. One of the things that I think is important to show you here, I'll let you look through the other stuff, my late policy. You know, what do I do if my computer crashes and I have a technological emergency, those types of things. However, how much time will this class take? I think that's really important to know. So this is a 4-unit class. If this were a 16-week semester, you would have 4 hours of, you know, in-class time. Even if you're meeting virtually, you still have 4 hours of what's called in-class time. That might be working on a discussion, taking a quiz, doing something on Zoom, something like that. But then you also are expected to do an additional 8 hours each week of outside of class time. Outside of class time would be like the readings that I assign, writing an essay, things like that. However, because we're in an 8-week class, not a 16-week, that means we have the same amount of work in half the amount of time. So that means we have about 8 hours of in-class time and 16 hours each week of out-of-class time. So that's about 24 hours a week. I know that sounds like a crazy amount of time. And you know what? It really varies from student to student, depending on, you know, how fast you read, how fast you write. Some students are quicker, but I do think, you know, 20 to 24 hours a week is a good guideline when you think about the time that you're going to need to devote to this class in order to be successful and be able to get all the work done. And you're the best judge of what your other commitments are, how many other classes you're taking, do you work, you know, all of the things that you have going on. And I just like to let students know up front, here's the time commitment so you know what you're looking at. Each week, I will post a new announcement on the homepage and kind of let you know, here's what you need to get done this week. And I think other than that, I'm going to let you discover the rest of the course. You can always email me or let me know if you have any questions. And I will see you soon.